Everyone who comes to the Chilean side of Patagonia goes to Torres del Paine. A photographer who's lived here for 10 years told me that's only half the story. So I went looking for the other half. This is the story of Puerto Natales. It is night in Puerto Natales and we have arrived at the house of Timothy. Really nice, just above Puerto Natales. You can see the lights of Puerto Natales down there, actually. And because he's not only a great photographer, but also a dad.
Someone is hungry.
And he's preparing the milk. And then it's dinner time for us. Because we need to charge up for tomorrow. Tomorrow we have a little hike waiting for us, right?
To Dorotea, the Cerro Dorotea, one of the best viewpoint of Puerto Natales. We're gonna try the guanaco beer.
Oh yes.
Local, handcrafted, made in Punta Arenas, but it's German style. Welcome to Puerto Natales.
Thank you. Look at that, what a combination. Cheers, guys.
Cheers. Salud.
The fjord below Timothy's house is called Señor Última Esperanza, named by the Spanish captain Juan Latrillero, who sailed these channels in 1557, searching for a western route to the Strait of Magellan. Desperate for food and water, he found this fjord and stocked up on provisions right where Puerto Natales stands today. Convinced he'd finally found the strait, he named it Sound of Last Hope. But it was a dead end. A year later, he reached the real strait and became the first navigator to sail it in both directions. Pioneers began settling here only in the late 1800s, turning it into an industrial outpost at the edge of the world. Over the past 3 decades, Puerto Natales has reinvented itself as the gateway to Torres del Paine. But there are stories buried in this landscape that most visitors never find. And I've got a friend who spent 10 years looking for them. Good morning, it is very cold. I think winter is slowly arriving, even so it's just autumn still. And we are out and about because I wanted to show you a little bit of a different side to Puerto Natales, because there's actually also some really beautiful things to do in and around Puerto Natales itself. We're on the way to
Dorotea, Cerro Dorotea.
Cerro Dorotea.
There is the best viewpoint of Puerto Natales, there on the hill.
So the hike altogether is about 1 hour if you're a fast hiker, but like on average probably 1.5 from the parking down there. You see over there is Puerto Natales. So it's a little drive out of Puerto Natales to come here. So if you don't have a car, you can actually take a taxi down here. Start your hike, pay a little entrance fee of about 5,000, and then go straight up. This is the wildlife everybody was referring to, huh? Feels like winter is coming, even so it's just autumn. Some snow up here. But this is also what is beautiful about this time of year. There's less people, of course. But also, you have the changing colors of autumn, the first snow. So this adds quite some contrast to images, to photos you take from here, and makes it actually even more impressive than it already is. Because I mean, let's be real here, Patagonia is impressive at every season.
Nature really gives you a tranquility you can't find in many places because it's really raw. It's, the weather is really extreme, you can have 4 seasons in a day, and that's really part of the lifestyle because you really remember every single second that nature dominates here, and that's what I like.
Alright, view is gone. Snow arrived. Woo! Looks like we went straight from autumn into winter. We hope that the cloud is still clearing, so let's see. but interesting. Quite a contrast on this hike. Feels like a flashback from Navarino. Timothy left France almost a decade ago, chasing light and stories in the most unpredictable landscape he could find. He's been here ever since, making documentaries, winning awards and raising a family at the edge of the continent. So, we had a little snowstorm rolling through. Now, the clouds have cleared, the sun is out, but the wind kicked in. It's still minus 2, minus 3 degrees. We have views all around. I mean, with the clouds in between, it actually makes up for a really nice mood. What do we see from here?
Well, you can see the whole Senora channel, and if you follow that channel, you will reach the Balmaceda Glacier, which is hidden in the fog right now. But the highlight, obviously, is a viewport of Puerto Natales, and surrounded by all these mountains.
It's just incredible. The only thing is, the only problem is, the wind now picked up with minus 3 degrees, and a brain freeze is a real thing. And it's like, it's coming from that side, and I feel like my whole face is frozen. So it's really hard. So we're heading down now. We're heading back down to Puerto Natales. Timothy had told me about a viewpoint inside Torres del Paine that most visitors never reach, the Mirador Ferrier. So the next morning I got on a bus for a little solo adventure. Torres del Paine is located about 100 kilometers north of Puerto Natales and was established as a national park in 1959. Originally just called Grey Lake Tourism Park. It took another 2 decades before UNESCO declared it a biosphere reserve. Paine comes from the Tehuelche language, the indigenous people who lived here long before any Europeans arrived. It means blue, and when you see the lakes for the first time, you understand why. Over 300,000 people visit this park every year, making it the most popular destination in all of Chile. The majority of tourists hike the W track or the circuit track around the Paine Massif. But there's one trail on the western edge that almost nobody does. And Timothy said the view from up there is second to none. I'm in the Parque Nacional Torres del Paine. The sun is shining. It was pretty cold. It still is pretty cold. It's like minus 2, minus 3 degrees. It was snowing all night. Actually, the higher mountains around me all have snow. Incredible sunrise today on the way to come here. I drove all the way from Puerto Natales with the bus to the last stop in the park, which is the Cafeteria Rio Pingo, which is right next to the Hotel Lago Grey, where the boat leaves for the glacier tours to the Grey Glacier. And I arrived around lunchtime, just before the trail closes, because they close the trail at midday, because the whole duration to go up and down is about 4 to 5 hours depending on your hiking speed. So 6.5 kilometers all the way up, and then I'm looking forward to an incredible view of Torres del Paine. I'm already on the trail right now, made it through the flat part, and now comes the part which goes all the way up. So, half an hour in. Yeah, it goes steep up, but the trail is easy to find. There's like markers everywhere, and as you make your way up, the views as you make your way up are incredible. I mean, look at that. So you see that little green roof? This is where the park rangers are. This is where you register for the hike. Then I made my way up here, and next to you is always the Paine Massif. It's really nicely done here. You have like these information boards which explain everything about the glaciers in this area, you can see. And then, if you look up, there it is, Great Glacier. Let's zoom in a little bit, and then you can see it in all its glory. Normally you can only see the glacier when you do a boat tour or when you hike the circuit, but here from this viewpoint, wow. Timothy told me about one of the stories he's proudest of capturing. Something that happened right here, on the trails of Torres del Paine.
Was one of the guys who was shooting the story of the first guy hiking W trek in a wheelchair. He's paralyzed from the chest down. His name is Alvaro Silverstein, and he founded a project called With the World to make the world more accessible place for people who are using wheelchair. But this started here a few years ago, and I made a short documentary with that, and we've won a few awards at the ATTA Adventure in Motion contest, and that was the first contest I won. And yeah, I'm really proud of that.
Okay, we're at 600 meters, not much left. This season is insane. You can have like everything in one day. You have actually everything right now. Sunshine, snow, and then the fall colors here. It's incredibly beautiful. We arrived truly in winter wonderland. Whoa. Now that we're out of the forest, it gets a little bit colder. Ooh, proper winter hike that is now. But the sun is shining and the views must be amazing. I mean, from what I've seen until now, it's just incredible. I'm speechless. This is incredible. You have glacier over there, the southern Patagonian ice field over there with the Great Glacier coming out. You have the pass of the circuit where you go over the Jean Gardner Pass. And then here's the whole Paine Massif with Cerro Paine Grande, the French Valley in the middle, then Los Cuernos over there, and then the three lakes, Lago Grey, Lago Peoe, and Lago Nordenskjöld there. Wow. And down here, this is where we started the hike. Right there. And there is Hotel Lago Grey. And from there you walk over there to take the boat, go all the way with the boat to the Great Glacier there in the back. From up here, you can truly see every part of the park at once. The ice field, the iconic peaks, the lakes, the valleys. Every trail I've ever hiked here is somewhere in that view. But what surprised me the most was looking the other way. There's Glacier Pingo, a glacier most visitors don't even know exists. You won't see it from the W track, and you won't see it from the circuit. This is exactly what Timothy meant. The best parts are where nobody goes. And this is just one of many gems I'll be showing you in this video. Okay, I still have 2 hours until my bus is leaving, so I think I'm gonna check out this fancy cafeteria here. After 5 hours of hiking, this burger was exactly what I needed. Torres del Paine gets all the attention for a good reason. But someone had to build a town out here to make all of this possible. And that story starts in 1911, inside a building on the fjord that Timothy told me I had to see. Today, a luxury hotel. This is the very place where the history of Puerto Natales began. There's a museum inside which you can visit even so you're not staying at the hotel. And this is exactly what I'm about to do. Until the late 1800s there was nothing here. No town, no port, just fjord and wind. That changed in 1877, when a British rancher named Henry Reynard brought 300 sheep across from the Falkland Islands. Those 300 sheep changed everything. Within 2 decades, Patagonia's grasslands were covered with hundreds of thousands of them, and someone needed to build a place to process all that meat. In 1896, a German settler named Rudolf Stubenrauch, yes, German, chose this exact spot on the Seignoret Channel to build a slaughterhouse. Remember the German-style beer? That wasn't a coincidence. Europeans from all over, Germans, Scots, Croats, Spaniards, came here chasing the wool and meat trade. Stubenrauch's operation grew so fast that a town formed around it. In 1911, that town was officially named Puerto Natales. Before that, in 1906, Stubenrauch sold the whole operation to the Sociedad Explotadora de Tierra del Fuego, the most powerful company in Patagonia at the time. They turned it into one of the most advanced cold storage plants in all of South America. The machinery you see here was shipped from Derby and Birmingham in England. Victorian-era engineering installed at the edge of the world. At its peak, up to 250,000 sheep were processed here every year. 400 workers during the busy season. And a small steam locomotive carried them along the coast from Puerto Natales to the factory gates every morning. The factory ran for almost 7 decades before it finally closed. Puerto Natales had to reinvent itself, and it did. But the pioneers who built this place left traces all over this landscape. And about 20 kilometers up the road, inside a cave the size of a cathedral, there's a story that goes back a lot further than 1896, about 10,000 years further. If you want to do everything you see in this film, I've put together a complete travel guide for all of Chile called Chile Your Way, based on my personal travel experience. Every trail, every hotel, every activity and restaurant, as well as itineraries and Google Maps lists, so you can plan your own route. Just scan the QR code or click the link below this video. Good morning from Puerto Natales. I'm making my way to a bike rental place because today I'm gonna do something combined. I'm gonna rent a bike, go about 20, 25, maybe even 30 kilometers by bike to Laguna Sofia, where I'll do a little hike, and I'm gonna visit the Milodon Cave. So, active day ahead, let's do this. Hoy quiero un bici. Bicicleta eléctrica. This is so cool. Electric bikes are amazing because you can go longer, you're not that exhausted, it's still a workout. And here by the coastline, the scenery is just incredible with the mountains in the background. Amazing. So here you see, I'm now on level 2. So it has five different levels. Alright, now let's go to Laguna Sofia. The Patagonian winds are strong. Even when they're not strong, they are strong. Whew. Not that easy. Alright, now we go off the highway to the left, to the cave, Milodon Cave, and to the hike. 8 more kilometers to go. The reason I'm doing all this is because Timothy had told me that if I only had time for one thing outside the park, it should be Cerro Benitez and Laguna Sofia. He called it the best place in the area to see condors. The trail starts 27 kilometers north of Puerto Natales on a private property right next to the Milodon Cave. Perfect for combining both in a single day. I have arrived at the starting point of the hike. So this is actually private property of Jorge and Carla. They live in this house here and they created this whole trail. So you pay about $12 as an entrance fee, and then you have this map here which actually they explained me the whole hike, how to do that. I'm using my GPS as well, so it's all together like almost 7 kilometers. We start here, we go up to the viewpoint on top of the hill, and then around, and it's like a nice little circuit to do, to see Laguna Sofia, to see the condors, to see this whole area which is a little bit out of Natales. The circuit is called the Ernesto Helmer Archaeological Trail, named after one of the early settlers of this area. Jorge and Carla build and maintain every meter of it themselves, with signage explaining the landscape, the local plants and the archaeological sites along the way. It's the kind of project that wouldn't exist if a family hadn't decided to protect this land rather than fence it off. It's pretty well done. So you have all these marked trail markers here. The trail is really well maintained. He put up signs to explain the landscape, but even also here the flowers you can find in this area. So very well done. I like it.
Sort of witty and jaded, but let's not talk about you. Your cloudy song.
First viewpoint, now it goes into these bushlands and through the forest, and then we're heading up over there to this little hill where we can see Lago Sofia. This is Cerro Benitez. In order to do the loop, we go over there and then head down the other way and come back where we started to have enough time to also visit the nearby cave. Got an empanada here. Okay, this is the highest point of the hike, the Mirador Laguna Sofia. As you can see, like going just a little bit up as well. But then we basically turn around, turn back. Over there you can see Cerro Benitez. You can also do a hike from that parking lot you see down there. This is completely free of charge, so you park down there or park your bike or your car down there, and then there's a trail leading up here that goes up to Cerro Benitez as well, but it is not a loop trail, so you could basically go up and go the same way down. And that's the reason why I chose to do this loop trail to Laguna Sofia, because you don't go back the same way. You see different stuff on the way and you walk through the woods. It's a really nice hike, not that long, but yeah, very beautiful. And the view here is amazing. From the Mirador Laguna Sofia, heading now basically back to the starting point. This is probably the nicest part of the trail. And there's a condor right here. Look at that. Just floating around. Wow. The Andean condor is one of the largest flying birds in the world. A wingspan of over 3 meters. Cerro Benitez is one of the few places where you can reliably see them up close, because the cliffs here create the thermal updrifts they need to fly. Timothy was completely right. On the last bit of the hike, you can actually see some paintings in the caves that are here. Over there, they're very light, but you can see them. These rock paintings are estimated to be around 6,000 years old, left by the Tehuelche, the same people who gave Torres del Paine its name. Another proof that long before any European set foot in Patagonia, this landscape had already been home to someone. Okay, I made it back. So there's the people climbing here. And there is the house of Jorge. So I will go to the Milodon Cave, hopefully. Let's see if they let me in still. Made it just in time for the entrance of the cave, the Milodon Cave. Cueva del Milodon. What is that actually? It's one of the most popular sites in the area of Puerto Natales. This is a cave where, as the name states, the Milodon skin was found. Milodon is an animal which is like a giant sloth, and this is like very rare to find any remains of this animal, and it was right here. It only lived in this area, I believe, in Patagonia, and it's actually found by a German. That's correct. In 1895, a German settler named Hermann Eberhard explored this cave and found a large piece of animal skin buried in the ground. It was thick, reddish, and still had fur attached. Eberhard sent samples to scientists in Europe, and what came back was astonishing. The skin belonged to a Milodon, a giant ground sloth that stood as tall as a horse and weighed over a ton. It had been extinct for roughly 10,000 years, Yet, the skin was so well preserved that some scientists genuinely believed the animal might still be alive, hiding somewhere in the Patagonian wilderness. That idea captured the world's imagination. Expeditions were launched to find a living Milodon. None did, of course, but the story inspired the British writer Bruce Chatwin to travel to Patagonia decades later. And his book about that journey, called In Patagonia, became one of the most famous travel books ever written about the region. All because a German farmer dug something up inside this cave. This is the Milodon. Look how tall it is compared to me. This cave is pretty cool. I was not expecting much, but I'm positively surprised. Alright, this is it. Now grabbing the bike and heading all the way back. A forgotten factory, condos, cave paintings and a 10,000-year-old mystery. I was starting to understand what Timothy meant when he said you'd miss something if you only focus on Torres del Paine. And the best part? He'd saved it for last. Tomorrow, we'll sail the fjord that Ladriero named Last Hope all the way to the glaciers at the very end of it. Good morning! It is another early morning and it's another cold morning. You hear the camera clicking in the background because I'm out here again with Timothy. He has the big lens out because we are on a boat heading into the glaciers of Puerto Natales. Actually, over there in the back you can already see not only the glaciers, you see Torres del Paine right over there during sunrise. It's just incredible. Wow. We're sailing the same fjord that Ladriero named Last Hope in 1557. The dead end he mistook for the Strait of Magellan. 300 years later, in 1889, a Chilean naval captain named Ramon Serrano Montaner sailed this exact route on a warship called the Condor. He was the first to chart these waters for Chile, and the glacier and river at the end of the fjord are named after him. Remember Cerro Benitez where I hiked yesterday? This was named after a young officer on that exact same ship. The first person to turn this route into a tourist trip was a pioneer named Joaquin Alvarez in 1950 on a tiny boat he called the Roca. His family has been running these tours ever since, now on slightly bigger boats. And there it was, Monte Balmaceda, 2,035 meters. The glacier on its face once reached all the way down to the water. Old photographs from 100 years ago show a wall of ice where there's now bare rock. Every year, it retreats a little further. Okay, we're now off the boat in the Bernardo O'Higgins National Park, and we're here on the little, they say it's a hike.
It's a trek.
It's a trek. Reality, it's just 1,200 meters of very well-maintained trail, and we're here with the whole boat like a school excursion, walking at a pace of snails.
Well, to be honest, it's 20 minutes just to get to the viewpoint, and it's incredibly easy, but we have to stuck together.
Yeah, so we're not allowed to take pictures on the way there because it will slow down the group. I'm not even sure how we can slow down even more.
Hurry up, Steve.
Alright, now we are at the viewpoint to the Glacier Serrano, the glacier right over there. Wow, incredible. It's small, but it is simply incredible. You're really close to the glacier. It's not like Perito Moreno where you're high up, you're actually right in front of the glacier. Wow, it's so peaceful here.
Best part of the day? Alcohol. We now have whiskey with glacier ice from the glacier we just visited. So cheers to that. Okay, now we're leaving the glaciers. We're leaving Glacier Serrano. No, what is it, the name? Was it Serrano?
Well, we see two glaciers, Balmaceda and Serrano, where we've been hiking.
Yeah.
On one of the most beautiful days of the season, by far, man.
I mean, we still have in the back, right in the back of us, the still Balmaceda Glacier, and now we're gonna have lunch. Cordero.
We need lunch.
Here.
I'm so hungry.
Cordero Patagonico. What is Cordero Patagonico?
Cordero Patagonico is a traditional lamb. Cordero al palo. You'll see a traditional way to cook it.
Lamb cooked over an open fire, the same way the settlers ate it 100 years ago on the estancias that supplied the Bories factory. Some things in Patagonia never change. Puerto Natales isn't just a stop on the way to Torres del Paine. It's a place with its own stories of pioneers, glaciers, a giant that might still be alive, and a photographer who chose to stay.
If you come to Torres del Paine and miss Puerto Natales, you miss something that has to do with the people here, and connecting with the locals is very important because people here are very special, they're very nice.
And that's exactly what my Chile guide is built on. Personal recommendations from people like Timothy and myself. Scan the QR code or click the link below to get everything you need for planning a trip of a lifetime. And if you're curious about what else is waiting in Patagonia, there's more to come.